Hello there everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to be working on a commission project. The commission is for a church near me, Saltwood Church, for a piscina gate. Now a piscina is a little recess in the wall of a lot of churches, and it's where they used to wash some of the dishes. There's a hole in the bottom of said recess that goes just straight into the ground. Now they keep some bits in there and they want to keep it a bit locked away. So what I've designed is a gate to go around said piscina to hopefully keep anyone from, taking basically what's inside, as it is a public space. It's likely that we won't stick directly to the design because there are a few gaps and such that will mean possibly, when the whole thing is made up, mean that people can get their hands through. So we might add a couple of bits here and there. Other than that, it should be quite a nice thing, and I hope you enjoy watching. Thank you very much. So for the outer frame, we'll be using some 30 by 6mm flat. I've dug out two big pieces and one shorter. The bottom of the frame is going to be about 36 centimetres. The sides are going, or the total height is going to be 66 centimetres. So I have no idea how one's going to work out the math of the radius and such as of that, so I'll just cut it much longer than it needs to be, bend it over and then cut off the excess. Well, it is 66 long. How much do you reckon? 80, I agree. 280. Hopefully, you know what? Hopefully get utterly foolproof it, 66. I'll just do a full metre. That way even a blacksmith can't get it wrong. Probably. I'll find a way. Two of them. It is raining, so you're not going to get a very good shot because, well, it has been raining, so you're not going to get a very good shot. It's very wet. I think I shall leave my camera in here and you can watch from a distance. I have decided to take a risk because I'm a donkey on the edge and be quicker than the rain. Hopefully. Look good from where I was standing. Ah, well, if it didn't look that good, then you should have paid for better seats, eh? Anyway, moving on from your general tight-fistedness of seat purchasing, let me show you something that I may not have shown you on this channel. This is our most beautiful set of blacksmith rollers. Lovely stuff on the back. Pyramid setup, so as you tighten these two bolts down, this top roller will obviously lower. The bar sits in between, and as you roll it back and forth and tighten it as it goes, the metal will gradually bend. Which is what we're going to do on the bars of metal which I've lost somehow. I really have. See now, really this is a question that everyone should ask themselves at some point in their life. It's, do I have a pair of rollers? Now if the answer to that question is no, the next question you should ask is, what really am I doing with my life? Fantastic. Right, so we just finished over by the workbench marking up everything, all the cuts and such, to get these into the right shape. Cut these very quickly and then we shall see how they fit. Right, so here is the get up. Bottom line is 36, so we know that's going to be about right, which it is. That's about 37, so that's a little long, but that's okay because I've cut it a little long just in case. And that's about 66 and a half, which again is half a centimetre too long, but I did, better look, that's handy, did where the marks are, just cut a little extra, so, zoom me back out, so I'll have a little bit to play with, but I'll quickly cut those off and come back and have another look. Right, here we are again then, zoom you out. So, again we have 36 at the base, which is nice. We have 36 and a half, which is not fantastic, but I can live with that. And that is 36.25, so I reckon, I'm not going to show you again, but, well I might, just to gloat, but I reckon just taking the little inside edge out of that corner will ultimately give us that last little half centimetre on the bottom and 0.25 centimetres in the sides, but I've run out of time today, so that'll be a tomorrow job. Right, so it's pretty well cut and put together and messed about with, but I'm not going to show you the measurements currently. I shall gloat about that in a minute because I'm too scared to show you one-handed and then potentially mess it up. So I'll weld it all up and then I'll show you afterwards. Right, so here are the measurements. It was, as before mentioned, 36 across at the top and bottom, and 66 down, which pretty well is. And just to gloat even further, because I can, that's pretty well square and pretty well square there, so I'm very happy. Right, so with the frame now being welded up or tacked up, we can now start working on the cross. The cross will be done first, just so I can get the idea of where it's going to be and such. The rays of light, I suppose you could call them, will be done afterwards, put them in, and then we can work on the scrolls, just so if there's any adjustment that needs to be done on the scrolls, then we can. So what we'll do is we'll get the material marked out. It'll be done in 3 pieces, so one singular sort of centre bar, if you like, and then the 2 arms on the side. Once that's cut out, we'll then weld them all together, clean up the welds, make sure it's nice and flush and wonderful, and then we'll cut that little hole out of the middle. So these are the pretty well cut pieces. We've got to clean off the edges. We know which one's going where, which is handy. Once we've welded everything up, we clean it up. What I'm going to do is quickly with the grinder just bevel these edges here, just so we get a nice deep burn into that plate, which should help a little bit. Right, so what we've got just before tacking the cross in to the frame, I've got a couple of 12mm bars underneath it. This is 30mm wide, this is 6mm wide, so when you do the math it should end up about 12mm gap on each side. So just get this quickly tacked in, and then we can have a look, see if it's all right, and get on to the raise. So after tacking it in, I now realise it's probably not the best thing to do, because we've got to cut out this little centrepiece, which with the frame on is going to make it a little bit doodah to clean up anyway. We've got another piece of equipment that we're going to use that you may not have seen on this channel before, and it is this. It is a plasma cutter. Normally with plasma cutters, as I understand it, you need some sort of unflammable gas like argon or something as such. And with this, we've just hooked up the air compressor to it. That's on, that's just going to be running along as it empties. Plugged it into the back, and I have used this before. If you head to my Instagram, not right now, finish the video first, but head to my Instagram and you'll see a picture of a swordfish, if I've posted it on Instagram. If not, then probably on the website or somewhere you'll find it. The majority of that was used with, or cut out was made, was cut out with this piece of kit. So we're going to get on with that. Once that's done, then we can clean it up and move on. Oh, come on, man. Give you a closer look at just how shabby this is. This is a mixture of probably not enough amperage, probably not enough air. Yeah. As you can see, it has rained, so, and I'm running out of time for the day, so we're just going to try this with the angle grinder. And the hole. So, after a little bit of filing and cleaning up, we now have a most fabulous hole. The next plan would be for the sun rays. Now, I was planning on doing something like this, a 6mm thick bar, and cutting it down and making it look nice. But what I've thought about instead is making it all out with a bit of a crude sort of representation, but making it all out of one piece, so you have a little bit of a sun, for instance, a bit of a sun arc there, and then the rays coming off. I think I'll avoid welding it here or on the back, because when you open it it's just going to look a little bit naff, but I'll probably weld it along here, have a small gap through there, just so it's a bit of a like a floating design. You know, you see house signs where they've got the floating letters, that sort of thing. Get to marking out and we'll get to cutting. So we've just done a little bit of quick marking out on the two arches we've cut. On this one, every one of these is going to be obviously a gap. I now realise that I've made a little bit of extra work for myself, because I didn't think through about cutting in to these little bits here. These ends are going to be fine, but it's just these two there, which we're just going to have to drill some small holes, break it off, and then clean up the angles basically. But that is what it should look like. I've tested where it sits on them. I've just put roughly a little square bit in there, and that will make a nice circle all the way around if we do the same on that. And that is should be about 20mm diameter circle, so it should all blend in quite nicely. Now we'll get this these bits cut out, and then we can get to welding. You know, I think I preferred the look of when they're all together. You can clean up those bits in the middle with a file, it'll be easy enough. The rest with an angle grinder, should be good. Admittedly, I did forget for a moment that I was meant to be filming this, but the rays are now cleaned up and we are just tacking them in. This one's all tacked in, we're just about to do this one. So they're now all in, looking pretty. I'm quite pleased with that, it's come out right. Notice as well how I've put right hand here and left hand here, and then left hand and right hand. Obviously figured it out in the end. Some of these tack welds are popped from when I was trying to get the piece out of this hole. I'm sure you remember, with the hammer and chisel. But those are all re-tacked in now. Currently we're waiting for the materials for the scrolls to go in, and the other bits as well. But what we can do will be working on the hinges, which will be on here, working on the lock piece, which will be on this side, and getting test fits done and such. So it'll start coming together quite nicely. But for that, I think that is a good place to end the video. So thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. We've obviously got a lot more work to do on this, so please come and tune back in for when part 2 or 3 or however many there are going to be come up. And with that, thank you very much again, and I shall hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.